Alright, guys, welcome back. It is time for the Overwatch League real playoffs to start. So, we had our play in tournament wrap up last week. We had some really great close matches, and as we can see, coming out of it, we had the Seoul Dynasty and the London Spitfire. Spitfire survived a crazy 8 map match against the Shanghai Dragons to move in, and Seoul took down Guangzhou 4-1. They did have a tie in there, so 6 maps overall, and that was still a very close series. Guangzhou put up a good fight, but Seoul was just a bit better in the end. So, if you remember my bracket, my London prediction was correct, but I had Guangzhou getting in instead of Seoul, so that was incorrect. So I'll also, after the games today and tomorrow, I'll also check in on my original bracket and see how it's doing. But like I said, for the purposes of saying what's actually going on, I'll be going through these matchups in this bracket with not the one I made, but the real bracket. So 2 matches today, 2 matches tomorrow. It'll be very similar to the regular season. We'll get predictions on these 2 days out right now. And then on Saturday, before the matches, you guys will have your predictions for Saturday and Sunday, depending who gets there. So, I am super excited. I think there are a ton of really great storylines when it comes to this playoffs. You have the two top teams the whole year, Shock and Titans, battling out on opposite sides of the bracket. You got Seoul Dynasty seeking redemption from last year. They took the first step by getting out of the play-in tournament. Now they gotta step up and prove that they can be like the top team. You got the Gladiators, who have established themselves as the team in LA all season long. They capped it off by beating the Valiant to end the regular season. Now they got to prove they can win a playoff series. They're 0-4 in the playoffs. Then you got the Spark. A lot of people predicted some good things about them, but I don't think a lot of people thought they'd be fourth at the end of the entire regular season. So they've really come in and played extremely well and gotten themselves as an expansion team into a good position. They're the last team from China standing. And then you have, of course, New York Excel, the regular season gods. Between 2 regular seasons, they are 56-12 in the regular season, but can they overcome their playoff struggles and can they adapt to this new meta quickly? Then you got Spitfire, the inconsistent in the regular season, but the clutch playoff performers. They clutched out last season. Can they have a performance similar again? And then you have the Rain. They were at 7-12, ups and downs. You lose to Ferran in the middle of the season. You bring in Baby Bay. You bring in FRD, and they've just gotten on an absolute roll. And they're looking like one of the hottest teams right now. But with the meta changing slightly, are they still going to look as good in it? So there's a ton of stuff to think about for this playoffs, and I love it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So today we got Seoul Dynasty, Vancouver Titans, and Gladiators Spark. So the upper half of the quarterfinals. Um, in the Titans Dynasty match, I legitimately give Dynasty like a 35 to 40% chance of winning. I think they have a puncher's chance. Flutter played so well on the McCree, particularly against the Charge. He really threw off their entire strategy. They were going to focus on having Nero on the Pharah and then having, of course, a Mercy with him. And that just didn't really come to fruition because of Fleta's just absolutely stellar play on the McCree. But I still, these are very hard too because, like I said, in the new meta, we've only seen Dynasty and Spitfire. So we're going to know a lot after today and tomorrow about the other teams as well, of course. So I'm going to take the Titans. I think this match is pretty close, though. I think 4-1 with a tie or 4-2 seems very likely here. I think Haxel's going to be a monster on the fist. He's been very good on it all season. Well, in the small parts that he's played it. He doesn't have a ton of play time, but he's always been a very highly regarded Doomfist player. I think he'll be great. The thing is with with I assume they're gonna play Stitch. Probably not Somensu or Hureg. Is he gonna be that guy to pair up with Haxall in the DPS? That's my biggest question because I know everyone else is gonna come in and perform super well. I think Janu's going to be a monster on the Sigma. Assuming he plays him, he might be on Orisa and Bumper on, but I would assume Bumper will be on Orisa and Janu will be on the Sigma. And then Twilight will be amazing as usual. Slime will be great. So this game. I still think this game could really go either way. The Dynasty definitely impressed me in their Guangzhou match, but it is only one match. They have choked before in the past, so we'll see what they do. I'm definitely excited for that matchup though. And then for Sparking Gladiators, like I said in the first predictions, I'm going with my Gladiators here. I think this is their best chance to get that first playoff match victory. We've talked about the Spark struggles to adapt to a new meta. The thing I'm most curious about is Gladiators. Do they run Hydration on the Fist? Because Doomfist and Pharah are used a lot, and those are his two best heroes in the game. But he's also been extremely good on Sigma apparently. So do they throw him in the tank line and then retain their DPS duo of Surefour and Decay? I'm very, very curious to see what they do. Or if they have hydration on DPS for a map or two, and then they have them on tank for a map or two. I really think anything's possible. Like I said, the biggest weakness for Gladiators is still that tank line. For Spark, I think it's the DPS line. So we will see who is able to clutch it out. But like I said, I'm going with the Gladiators. It's time for them to do this. They're too good of a team to not win at least a series. They're going to get revenge on Spark for beating them a couple times in the regular season, and they're going to get to play the Titans. And then tomorrow, we got New York and we got Spitfire. I really, really want to pick New York here, but I am going to stick with Spitfire. I'm essentially staying with all of my old picks. I still think Shock are going to beat the Rain in a close matchup. Um, Pretty much not too much has changed for me. If anything, I feel a little bit worse about Spitfire. They still didn't look super clean. They didn't look as clean as I thought they would, honestly, in their matchup against the Dragons. They looked very good at first, but then really kind of let it get away and nearly lost the match and got eliminated. But I still like their clutch up factor more than Excel. Excel has been a bit sluggish in adapting at times, especially like last year playoffs. They were a little sluggish to adapt to the new meta. Like I said, the old issue of Jonak I think is going to not be as good, or as he's not going to be as impactful. He'll be just as good, but he's on Moira. Moira can't carry as hard at this level. So I'm going to stick with Spitfire here, but Excel. Besides Gladiators, Excel's probably the team I'm most interested to see how they play and what they come out with and who what their lineup is. Shocker, another team that could be coming out with different people. There's rumors that Nevix might be a Sigma specialist. I don't know. I think that they'll probably stick with Smurf and Choi / Super and Choi. I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't. But we'll see. It depends how the coaching staff feels about how their players are adapting. But again, gonna go with the Shock here. They're just too good. I think that this match would be incredibly close if it was in the last meta. In this meta, I think Shock are going to get off to a bit of a better start. I think they're going to kind of roll it. I see this one being a 4-1. I think Atlanta will have a couple of really good maps where they keep it close and they're going to take one off of them. But overall, I still like Shock here. They've been pretty quick to adapt to the meta. I mean, they were so good at GOATs, and then they transitioned pretty seamlessly into 2-2-2. They had a couple of issues at the start, but pretty much all teams do. But they were able to iron them out very quickly, like I said. Krusty and that coaching staff, you cannot underestimate them. They are the best staff in the league. So this is what I think the four teams left in the winners bracket are going to be. And then of course we have Dynasty Spark and Excelsior Reign that are going to be duking it out in the losers round one. But like I said, I will not be predicting that now. I'll do that on Saturday when we actually know what the winners semis are going to be and the losers quarters are going to be. So honestly, I really do, more so than any of the stage playoffs, probably because there's a new meta too. I really think that I could get all four of these right, or I could get all four wrong. I think that all of these teams have the ability to beat each other at this point in the bracket. I would honestly, I'd probably say the least chance for me is probably Rain beating Shock. I feel better about Dynasty and Excel beating their teams than Spark beating Gladiators than that one. So it should be amazing. The double elimination, like I said, I feel like it's such a good idea. Last year, the one and done with the best of three, best of five format, I wasn't that big of a fan of it. I think this is way better. You get the best of seven, and then it's the double elimination. Um, but yeah, as you can see, rocking the Gladiators. Hopefully the boys pull it through this time. I'm not expecting them to win it all, but I want them to get that first playoff victory at least. Because if they don't, if you go 0-2 here, you lose to Spark and then you lose in the to either Titans or Dynasty. I think you got to make some big changes because two full seasons and not a single playoff victory for a team that's always in the playoffs or near to the playoffs, you just can't have it. So it's proven time for all these teams, and I'm super excited. I got a lot going on today. Of course, I'm a Packer fan because I live in Wisconsin, so got that today as well. Opening of the NFL season. Um, so yeah, it's a busy time of year. NFL starting, baseball playoffs, Overwatch League playoffs. I'm loving it. Hope you guys get to watch the games tonight. First match starts at 6, and that's of course Titans versus Dynasty, and then Spark Gladiators. The time will vary depending on how long the Titans Dynasty series goes. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have yourselves a couple of absolutely fabulous days, and then I'll see you on Saturday for more predictions.